The biggest patch Call of Dragons has ever seen so far is coming to the game in the next few weeks, and we have an insane amount of information for some of the biggest changes I've seen in this game, including two of the new heroes coming next, which are infantry, as well as massive changes to the rally meta and massive nerfs to the way things work for resurgence and massive buffs to the way things work for alliances in a new season. So I'm gonna go over all the patch notes that were released in game today. Now I'm using screenshots because they released these patch notes earlier today, but they removed them from the game shortly after being released. I'm thinking that it's due to language issues, as there is a lot of mistakes in the language used in this patch note, but I think the information is quite accurate as it comes directly from the Call of Dragons team. It is not a leak, it is a release, and I think everybody will receive these patch notes in their inbox as well as on the Discord server quite shortly. So first, let's get started with the changes. Of course, it is going to be Season 2 plus Hearts of Ice. So kind of like we saw in the first season, we get a plus season because they're not ready with a new map just yet for Season 3. And we also have 4 new heroes that have to be released in Season 2 for the cycle to be over. And this is going to be where the next 2 heroes are coming in. They are going to be 2 new legendary infantry heroes, as you can see right here. New heroes, one is Kogel, infantry, PvP tank. So it's going to be obviously an open field PvP tank, similar to Madeline in terms of gameplay, but we obviously don't know what it's going to look like. And Goresh, which is going to be a rally precision infantry hero, which brings a very interesting aspect. Rallying in Call of Dragons is basically non-existent, but if you were to need a rally, it will be interesting to see it on the infantry, but also having precision, which is usually auto-attack damage based, so maybe counter-attack as well. So this is going to be interesting. I'm sure it's going to be a strong rally if we ever needed rallies. But we'll see. Obviously, this is going to be coming in the next Lucky Spin, Wheel of Destiny, and Strongest Lord event. Now, going back to Season 2 plus, of course, the terrain will change a little bit, so we'll have to see what that looks like. We'll also have mysterious spires that have appeared across the map. So they're defensive structures scattered across, which can help occupiers launch devastating attacks. So I don't know what that means. Of course, it might be something that you have to capture, which might make it so that there is now rally and garrison. Let's hope, because it would be pretty cool to see that aspect of this game. But also devastating attack against enemies. So what does that entail? You capture the spire in the territory, you can launch stronger attacks, or maybe you can launch rallies of some sort. Not sure what it entails, but it is interesting to see something new being added in Season 2 plus, because this could add an entire new way of this game to be played in PvP, especially because you will see some of the changes coming in the next few slides are very, very meaningful for rally meta. So also you can build turrets. Turrets will automatically attack enemies within range. So I don't know what that means. I'm guessing it's like building a barricade and something that auto-attacks enemies. I don't really have any information or hypothesis of why this is happening, because we already have range combat. So building turrets, I don't know what that means. I guess it will means that choke points are even more toxic to fight against. So we'll have to see. But in all, I'm just very excited to see such new mechanics being introduced, because it just shows that the developers are trying things and they're listening to feedback, they're adding things in the game, so there's a lot of stuff coming to this game. Now, one thing I'm very excited about, the policy system has been redesigned. So obviously we don't know exactly what it means. They do talk about it a little bit later, but basically meaning that the policies, which are basically just like an endless grind where you just farm the currency, research the healing stuff and the march troop stuff. So it's kind of like been a bit stale. So this is going to be interesting to see. So we've talked obviously about the new heroes. So next slide here, of course, new legendary artifact that will go with the heroes. It's control and PvP. So maybe something with some CC. It will be interesting to see. You know, having the 2 next heroes being infantry is an interesting decision. If there is more of a rally and garrison meta coming with these new spires, it could be very interesting. But in any other case, infantry is one of the most useless unit type in this game, because unless you're T5 and very strong, you just insta-melt to the hundreds of mages and archers that are just waiting in balls around PvP areas. So if you are not a massive whale, you will have no interest in anything infantry related, but it will be interesting to see if they have any surprise for us with these new heroes. which would make some people want to invest in them, because so far no one that I know does. New beast, so Mysterious Night Rock. So hopefully this is a new pet that allows a different ability. As we know, there is no ability that currently works very well with Cindrian, which is the new main archer rallying hero, basically. So we'll see. It could be something pretty nice. We'll have to see when it comes out what it has. But it's nice to see that they're adding pets as well, because that means that it will have always different builds and different things to do. But the pet system and the way it is right now is basically just pay to win, and there's absolutely nothing to do otherwise. So we'll have to see if that is going to be changing in the future. There is some nice quality of life changes to the pet system though in this update, so that's still quite exciting. A new wonder, now this is just story stuff, still interesting. Dragon Trail improvement, now the difficulty was reduced in season 1, so that's great. But also the currency was also renamed to Trail Coins. Now this is happening because basically Dragon Trail is being reworked in a way that you do not have to do it over and over again in new seasons. So we'll see here. The adjusted XP doesn't really change anything because there's no change to overall rewards. But it basically will mean so that you can progress to it faster in the beginning of the game when you're very weak. It takes a long time to clear it. Now probably will be a bit easier and a bit faster. And there is also no more prestige granted from Dragon Trail. So prestige is the currency used for policies. So when you're upgrading your policies, you use prestige. You used to get most of the prestige, almost any type of prestige you got would be from the Dragon Trail. Now this is not going to be a thing anymore. Very interesting change. Removing the Dragon Trail's importance in the game for later season. However, you can gain prestige by defeating Darklings and Dark Creatures, donating Alliance Tech, and by purchasing from Merit Store. So basically, by being active every day doing what you should be doing, you will get prestige. So a bit less of a grind there. A very interesting welcome change in my opinion. Quick Loot has also been removed. So that's the thing, we can pay 80 gems and get a few hours of like prestige and whatever. So good that it's gone, because it was really just early game gem sink and then nothing useful at all afterwards. So we'll see how it looks. Dragon Trail is usually like a boring grind that you have to do over and over every season. So the fact that we won't have to do that again and that the currency from it is changing is a very good sign that developers are listening to player feedback. Now, Warped gameplay improvement, that's a big one. It will be faster to level from 53 to 60. Sure, nice, fine. Improve Warped skill description, so it will be nice to have better description, because confusing is the word for what it is right now. And this is going to be the biggest part. Now, if there's nothing else you want to remember about this video, this is going to be one of the ones you do want to remember for Warpeds. You will be able to tap a locked skill slot and spend a skill card with a lower star rating to quickly and conveniently unlock the slot. Now, this is very hard to understand. The English was probably not translated properly, but currently, my guess is that this is meaning when you have a pet that has a lot of empty skill slots that have no skill in them, then you're adding a new skill and it randomly goes into the one that you already have. So it's replacing your skill over and over. This, I think, is going to let you put some skills into like an empty slot. So you basically will be able to put skills all over your pet, and then when you try to upgrade later on, it might replace some of them. But anyways, we'll have to see exactly what it means. In any case, if you're here right now, my suggestion is do not touch Warped's skill. Don't do any of it until the patch comes out, because if this is true, it will make it a lot better to do so in the future. So right now you're wasting so much value getting your own skills replacing each other. So let's hope this is going to be some improvement, because that system is really, really, really bad right now, and this would make a very big improvement. And a few more things about the pet. The strongest war pet, Stone, which basically releases level 25 pets. It will basically be better, increase your chance of finding higher rarity war pets afterwards. So instead of just being level 25, they're also going to be better rarity. So it's going to be nice. It's going to make it so that at the end of the season, you can start going Pokemon mode and start farming pets. And then spell of the skill cards of the pets will also be temporarily stored in the mail system. They were already doing that for 1 day. Now it's 7 days. So, you know, you just check your mail regularly, because sometimes when you have too many and they don't fit in your inventory for the pet skills, they get sent to your mail. So that's what it is. Now, PvE improvement. This is another massive, massive change. They're going back on their previous change. So in season 1, this is how it worked. After reaching level 50, heroes will now obtain XP for defeating Darklings and Dark Creatures, allowing you to evolve your heroes. Max level is still 60, as far as I know. But you couldn't do 50 to 60 with anything but PvP, which is a very interesting way of doing it. But for someone who's earned like 4 million merit in the last few weeks alone, I still don't have level 60 heroes. So obviously being T4 is really hard to get your level 60. So they really needed to increase this, and they still do. But instead, they basically just removed this entire system and made it how it was before. You can level 60 doing PvE only, and then do PvP the way you want. I like it personally because having to level 50 to 60, you can't get your full talent tree basically until you're level 59. So you're playing with like half-assed talent trees until that time. At level 50, you have like one branch, but then you have nothing on the other branch. It really kind of like made the hero build a bit dull and less fun. So this is going to be, in my opinion, pretty nice, which will allow for kind of like a more even playing field when we get started in PvP and you've gotten your heroes basically maxed out before the combat starts. Because leveling heroes is one thing Wales cannot pay for, so everybody gets the same edge. And now Wales could do 50 to 60 quite easily by having T5 and doing more kills than us. So now this is going to kind of even the playing field even more. So I do like this move a lot for non-T5 players, basically, is wood benefits. Rewards for defeating Darklings and Dark Creatures are now the same. So for those who don't know, Darklings give XP, Dark Creatures give Artifact XP. Usually, that's kind of how it's been working. Darklings were usually the better choice, but now it's going to be the same. So this is going to be very, very interesting because you don't have to hunt two types of creatures. They're doing this because basically they don't want dark creatures to be a focus. They want it either darklings or pets. So basically what this will change is that you will not have to hunt dark creatures to get XP for your artifacts. The reason behind this, which I think they say a little bit later, is that artifacts don't reset their level after new seasons anymore. So this is why this is happening. This is a huge change, and also hugely positive change, because it's really annoying to re-level your artifacts. Your heroes, I can see why, but the artifacts, like, why do you have to re-level them? There is absolutely no fun in doing that whatsoever. So this is going to be a nice change, meaning you don't have to farm as many things. You can focus your CP on leveling your heroes. And there's also these changes when multiple people defeat them, they will all get the full XP. Basically, if you have 5 marches and your friend has 5 marches, it would split the XP weirdly. Now everybody gets full XP. Great. Also a better way to hunt Darklings because you take less damage and you kill them faster. So if you have friends do that, it's now going to be very beneficial to do so. And for Season 1, there's also better rewards for doing all this stuff. Defeating will also grant prestige, basically. So Season 1 will be, a little bit buffed in that way. And then reduce the XP requirement to level up heroes in Season 1. So a lot of these changes are going to make Season 1 much more beginner friendly, but also just for later seasons, make it much more convenient for all of us. The difficulty of everything in the Season 1 is also lower. The XP reward for Linus Crisis is also blah, blah, blah. So obviously a lot of Season 1 stuff. Season stories also grant large amount of prestige. Again, that's the currency that we'll all need. We do all this no matter what. So this is not stuff you have to look out for. You'll be doing it automatically by playing the game. And the cost of policies in Season 1 has also been adjusted. So basically a big adjustment to this whole system. I think it's going to be very nice. I am quite excited for it. Now, next, we have an even richer combat experience. Again, I was talking about rally meta earlier. So rally meta is basically what this season has all been about. You send a rally, mostly mage rallies, and then you bait other enemies to attack and AoE your rally by accident, which makes the rally attack back and then start AoEing them, being mage rallies. And then when it AoEs them, it keeps the aggro, so it just goes through everybody and kills everybody. It's very toxic and very unpleasant. It was fun for some time, but it creates kind of like a stalemate in the game the way it's played. There's really not much to do against it. You counter rally it, you wait, you avoid it. It's like, it's not the game they were intending, and it is going to change drastically. Improved UI visibility, so that will be nice because it's sometimes really hard to spot them. But when a legion launches a normal attack against your rally army, it will launch a counter attack, but will not attack any surrounding legion. So if someone who's not paying attention attacks the rally, instead of the enemy rally attacking back and killing everybody, it will only counter attack the person attacking it. It will still destroy the person attacking it, but it won't start doing some massive damage to everybody. You don't have to be so careful to avoid attacking rallies. Obviously, you still do, because they will counterattack you, but once you go away or you are defeated, the rally will stop attacking and continue marching. So this is going to make a very nice change to this whole rally meta. We'll obviously have to see it in action because we don't know exactly what it'll look like, but it will be hopefully a big change that people are definitely wanting. Stronghold change here, I think, is one of those things they're rewarding because it says Archer Towers are no longer counted as strongholds. Now, I think what they mean by Archer Towers is keeps because there is no Archer Tower. And if there is going to be these new towers that they talked about in the first beginning of this patch note, then, well, they are not even live in the game. So how can they no longer be counted when they were not even there? So we'll see. I think this means keeps. This doesn't really change much, to be honest, even if it's a stronghold or not. It just, some heroes have bonuses against it and stuff. I don't know. We'll have to see what exactly they mean by this and if it really matters. But as far as I know, I don't think so. A few combat improvements. After casting some artifact skills, after being stunned or airborne or fighting dark creatures, your actions will basically be carried on. So you don't have to reissue. Sometimes you're attacking enemies and they knock you back, and then your hero's just like standing there and doing nothing because for some reason. This is basically to fix that, so we'll see. More accessible map, so that's the next part. So this will be interesting to see. It'll be improving low flying areas in the cliffs and stuff. There's a lot of, you know, movement stuff around where people get blocked and marches get stuck and stuff, so they're improving some of that. There's also going to be a truce zone in season 2, which is going to be a zone where you can basically teleport and have no one can attack you, and I guess it's just Farmville. So, you know, interesting for like farm accounts and lower power players not to get bullied. So changes to trolls and beasts. So this is what I was talking about a bit earlier. Trolls will only appear as treasure guards and behemoth acolytes. So instead of like trolls appearing as creatures all over the map, they won't. They will appear only for like the big treasures and behemoths. So that's going to be nice because that means the reduced spawn rate of trolls has significantly increased the spawn rates of beasts instead, so the pets. So basically, there won't really be any beast on the ground. You will just have pets or darklings. So this is great because you can capture pets or get XP from the darklings and get you don't need XP anymore for your artifacts as much, so you don't really need to farm anything else. Very, very good. This is underrated. This should probably be highlighted because it's really a big change, which will make it a lot better to get pets and to just have the map in general. It's just so annoying to move around just to go from one troll to the other because you're looking for artifact XP, for example. So I'm really happy about this. In the same area, there's a search feature, which, you know, looks for dark creatures and treasures and stuff, is going to remove dark creatures so that you have an easier time filtering and looking around when you're looking for specific things. So again, another great change there. Really nice to see that they are listening to the feedback because these are things that are going to make a big difference in the long run. Now, this is not over. There is so much in this patch. It's really absolutely crazy, which is why I said it's the biggest patch I've seen so far. When Season 2 reset adjustments happen, so this is going to be for my season specifically, so we'll see this live on the channel, of course. When the new season begins, if your hero is under 30, their level will not change. If they're above 30, they will be reset to 30. So instead of getting a full hero reset every season, you're now going to get a level 30 reset. 30 keeps most of your spells, like most of your skills unlocked. So that's pretty damn good and makes it so that you don't have to farm just as much and you're not like a level 1 on day 1 in a new season doing absolutely no damage with like 5 units in your army. So this is going to be great and also reduce the grind a lot, which is something people really hated in this game. So another really good change. Artifacts level will not reset. Arcane Dust will not be scrapped. So again, this is really, really good because you don't have to bother re-leveling your artifacts. Once they're level 60, you're just done. You don't have to level them. So eventually you'll have all your artifacts level 60 and you don't really care about the Arcane Dust and stuff anymore. So right now, I would say, I will make another video about this because it will need to be said again. But if you are currently in a season where you're getting Arcane Dust and you're getting heroes and all that stuff with your CP and you don't really need the XP and you have too much CP that you don't know what to do with, now is the time to go and stockpile Arcane Dust. That's only if you're in season 2, obviously. Go get stockpile Arcane Dust, make all your heroes level 30, except, and I say this without knowing fully for sure if it's going to work, but if you have a hero that's messed up, for example, instead of 5-1-1-1, it's like 1-2-3-2, well, your hero's messed up. You need the first ability at 5 for it to be any useful, otherwise the hero's worthless, basically. You know, in so many words. So if you are having that hero and it's lower than level 30, leave it lower than level 30 so that when he resets to level 1, you only have the first skill unlocked, and when you put points in it, you will be able to get the first skill to level 5 before you get the hero further on, because afterwards you will never be able to reset to level 1, and there is no way yet to fix heroes that are broken that way, unless you're spending tons of gems on that reset 3 talent thingy. So it's just not going to be something feasible for everybody. So again, this is going to be very interesting and change the way season to season works drastically. But it still isn't the biggest change in my opinion. So let's get to the next one. Higher level enemies. So after season 2, you'll get higher level darklings and everything. So 25 is the max currently. Hopefully it goes higher. More rewards, more XP, more everything. Great, we like that. Other improvements, system adjustments for season 2 policies. So resource production buffs have been removed, and then there is going to be healing reduced. The cost of healing is reduced with some policies. Pretty good. We'll see again how that looks. But this is mostly good for whales who use a lot of resource healing every day because you know, they need to. Otherwise, the free healing is just not enough to keep fighting for very long when you're that big of a whale and you know, use a lot of troops. Affiliated region pre-selection. Now this is a massive change. I think this is going to fix a lot of the community issues that this game has, and something that Chisgold mentioned really recently in one of his videos where he highlighted a lot of the issues in this game, a lot of which got fixed with this patch, which will be nice, but not all of them, of course. But this is one of them. This is a huge one. This whole betraying meta that Chisgold says is in the game is very accurate on my server as well. You know, betraying is basically the meta because you just flip-flop from alliance and benefit no matter what. There is no malice to it. So this is going to be a big deal. Alliance leaders may select their alliance's region, affiliated region, in advance of the end of the season, and then the entire alliance will not be disbanded when the new season begins, and basically your whole alliance will just keep going. I don't know if you're going to have to restart the research. I don't know if you're going to have to do anything. I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know if your slot's going to be reset. Like if you have a 180 alliance slot, well, a lot of that comes from Behemoth. A lot of that comes from research. Is it reset at 0? Maybe, but then where are all the extra members going? That I'm not sure. I think they'll keep the research and then they'll make us find the Behemoth again, so we'll go from like 180 to like 150 or something. In any case, the fact that the alliance doesn't get disbanded and that players stay in the same alliance is a huge deal, very beneficial for people sticking together. Now this is the biggest one. The resurgence feature, which basically allows you to change from one affiliated region to the other, which allows you to join other alliances, betray, and all kind of stuff. It will be used only for the first 7 days of season 2. So let's go to the next page. During the first 7 days of season 2, you can research, which is fine. You go back and forth, your hospital gets filled and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't really matter at the beginning of the season. But then during the season, you will not be able to join alliances in other affiliated region until the final Augerstone stage has finished at the end of the season. The final Augerstone takes a very long time. It's really long after Dragon is even dead that you get to the final stage. So basically, it means that in the first 7 days of a new season, you choose your side, you choose your region, you choose your alliance, and you're stuck with them until the end of that season. So this is going to be good because, I mean, you can't betray. You can betray, but then you can't go to the other side to join them and help. So you can't alliance hop. It kind of forces you to stick as a continent or as a region, because there's like a 4 starting region at the beginning of a season, right? So it will force you to stick with these players because there is no other place where you can join an alliance. So this is going to be massive. It's going to fix a lot of issues, not every issue. And you notice here, it only says season 2. So this is definitely something they're testing for season 2. They might do something different for season 3. So this is just good sign that the developers are definitely listening and trying something out. I think this is a very good decision. We'll see how it translates in the game. But personally, I think this is going to be very beneficial for people sticking together and creating groups that are long-term players instead of just flip-flopping to whoever's winning every season. There will also be new village buffs, so we'll see what they are. So far, the village buffs are like XP and a bit of elixir. They're definitely decent, but they're you know, pretty minimal. So we could see some nice changes there. And Augerstone changes. So in order to improve the experience for players who are not part of Alliance, you will not be able to get any season reward if you're not in Alliance. So it just makes you need to be in Alliance to play this game. If you're not in Alliance, you're not playing the game. Server info. In order to make late season management more convenient, season 2 onwards, information regarding other servers will be displayed when migration preview phase. So great, we're going to have information before migrating and stuff. People, leaders, going to be helpful for them. And there's going to be also improved announcements for the timeline and all that kind of stuff. So basically, it will just be easier to go from season to season. There's more transparency, more information, and more data in general. Now, if you thought that was over, it's still not over. These patch notes are tremendously long, and as I said, there was just incredible amount of change, from the fact that you can't resurge, the rally meta changing, the new heroes, there's just so much, like the artifacts are resetting, the heroes being to level 30, there's just so much going on. Improve alliance system, merit ranking, you'll be able to see basically overall merit and weekly merit, so you can see who's active during certain weeks. Opening multiple rare gifts, you can now open 10 at a time, so this is nice for those of us who are in alliances where there's so many of them every day. Alliance donation will also be more effective. Basically, the benefits for resource has been increased, but you will get like a longer cooldown, and it will still receive the same amount of reward as before. So this doesn't change much in terms of you, but I think basically you don't have to log in so many times per day to do them. You'll be able to, you know, log in more rarely and be able to get all your donations in, I think is what the goal of this is. Next, 7 more enjoyable events. So this is going to be interesting. There's a new event which is Behemoth Raids. It's cross server, you form teams and you just go and take some behemoths. You can deploy multiple legions. I don't really know what this is going to look like. For those of you who've played Rise of Kingdom, you've seen these kind of events. You just kind of get randomly matched with people and just go and fight a boss that doesn't really do much, and then it just dies and you have rewards. It might be a little bit more complex than that, but when you have cross server, no voice chat, it can't be too hard. So we'll see, but I mean, it'll be fun, it'll be something to do, and it'll have rewards, so we're not complaining. New event, treasure hunt. So there's going to be treasure map fragments you put together, and then you can search for bountiful booty. So if you're leading some booty in your life in Call of Dragons, well, you will have the event for it. So this is an event, it's exactly the same as Rise of Kingdom. You get a few treasure chests, you click them, it shows you like an X on the map, I'm guessing. You go and find the X with a scout, you get the reward. It might be something else a little bit. It's pretty straightforward. It just makes you explore it a little bit, gets free reward for some time sink. They're doing a bit of fixing in the Trial of Light event. Some buffs and enemies have been changed. Also, Titan's Legacy event. The reward for maxing out your Insight rune level in Titan's Legacy now includes 2 new city teams to choose from. This is basically like the battle pass, I think, that you do your dailies every day and you get some points and eventually you unlock some kind of artifact at the end. So I don't know exactly what this is going to entail. I think it might just mean that we'll, instead of getting a legendary artifact, we're eventually going to get city skins. We'll see what it is. It's going to be implemented in the next patch, so we'll see what it looks like. But it's nice to see that there's going to be new city teams in general, because there isn't a lot. So this is, again, another great addition. Now we're Celestial Battleground event, so there's going to be more changes in that event. Other improvement, I think that's the last one. Alliance building relocation improvement. When choosing a location, buildings are fixed at the center of your screen. So this basically just helps people build. Content sharing also helps share chat windows and stuff and friends, coordinates, all that kind of stuff is better. So they're improving the UI and stuff in the game. This is all great for quality of life and for people to communicate and participate in stuff. And union chat feature. So when you're in union with another alliance, there's going to be a chat that groups both of these alliances in one. Great, definitely needed. When you have a union system in a game, you need the chat that goes with it. So this is great, and obviously was long overdue. And important message reminder, this is going to give you reminders of important stuff you might have missed. So another thing that will be quality of life for players who are busy or not paying attention. This will kind of help in that regards. Now, this is the last slide, I promise. Building resource collection. So the amount of resource that you can collect at once will be increased, so you don't have to go as often. Message blocking features, so you can block message and stuff, mail. Anyways, this is all little things that will just help in general. Honorary membership page, you can see whether your selected hero is eligible to be awakened when claiming that hero's token. It's just, you know, quality of life. This is all this is. PC improvement, new shortcut mode with key bindings displayed at the bottom to avoid bad key presses, and improved mouse scroll, which makes it more fluid and responsive. PC is the best way to play this game. If you have a desktop, it is the way you should be playing. Of course, it's not bad to do otherwise. It's just the best optimized way without lag to play this game. So, of course, all of that is great. I love seeing these kind of changes. It makes, for the general players who are not as familiar with these types of game, to have a much better experience when they're getting into it, because it can be very overwhelming, the amount of stuff there is in these games at first. So these are things that definitely help with that. So that's it. Obviously, we have one of the biggest patches we've ever seen, and this is a pretty long video. If you have any question, or if you want to look at the patch notes, I will be sharing them in the comments. If you need them, just ask me. As well, I will be sending all the patch notes on my Discord for my Alliance. So for Alliance members watching this, check the Discord for the patch note screenshots if you missed them until they're added back into the games at least. And obviously this is from the developers themselves. I didn't make this up, it's not a leak. So this is basically the two new infantry, Skogul and Gorish. They're both Wilderberg orcs, which makes sense for infantry heroes. So we'll see what they look like. There's an event currently in the Call of Dragons official Discord where if you guess their special skill, you can gain some gems and stuff. So if you are interested, go do that. You just have to guess what they will do. Obviously, nobody knows. But think about it. One of them is a tank with PvP tree, and the other one is a rally leader with a precision. So, there it gives you a little bit of an indication on what kind of ability they would get. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and think this patch is as massive as me. I'm very excited for this patch. The last thing I want to add is that being that this is 2 infantry heroes and that there is 2 more heroes coming in season 2, this is most likely going to be the first 2 heroes of season 2 plus, and then by the end we'll probably get the 2 next ones, which would be mage if the game makes any sense. So hopefully it is mage. So look forward to that. I personally will not be spending much time on 2 infantry heroes because infantry is really just a unit type that sees very little action and is very worthless to anyone who's not T5. But we can always be surprised. But I'm saving up for the next 2, which hopefully are going to be the mages, because that is what we really need after we've had 2 of every other kind. So hopefully that happens. Stay tuned on the channel and subscribe if you're looking for more information and guides. I will always be updating whenever I get new information or anything about these new heroes. I'll be the first to let you know what is going on. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video.